Okay, today we're at Thunderhead Bowling Grill Pro Shop with the owner, Tom Latella. That's what he's saying. That's good to know you. I haven't done any Tenpin interviews, but this will be a new experience for me.
Excellent.
So, how long have you been in the pro shop business?
Oh, I've had a pro shop here for about 10 years now, and I've had pro shops up in New York when I live in New York.
Oh, yeah.
I've been in the business probably about 20 years.
Right, okay. Were you out on the pro tour?
No.
No. But you're just well experienced with making
I like
fitting
bowling.
balls.
Yeah, fitting balls. I've been drilling. I've been to different classes in schools. I do bowl, just don't bowl that much anymore because there's not much time because the business is so busy.
Right.
So,
yeah. Would you say that you get more younger people in here than older people, or middle age, or?
it's a mix. So you get a lot of the younger people when the leagues start, and they're new to bowling. But most of the older people who have been bowling for a while, in the middle of the season, sometimes they buy a ball, but usually with the older people who buy bowling balls, they don't buy bowling balls often. They buy one every 5 or 10 years, where the younger generations buys multiple bowling balls every year. So some of these customers in here buy a ball every 2 or 3 months. A new bowling ball comes out, they might come in and buy one. But the busy season is really the beginning of the league, which is August, September, and we get a good rush around Christmas, and then tax season is when it really takes off.
Oh, really? Tax season?
Yeah.
I guess they're getting their refunds.
Yes.
That's something. I didn't know that.
That's our high time right there. That's our busy time.
Wow, that's something. So what part of New York were you in when you were?
I lived in Westchester County, and I had a pro shop in Cortland Manor, which is right outside of Peekskill, maybe 40 miles north of the city.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty successful, busy bowling center. And I was there for maybe 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
And then I moved down here. And then I was out of the business for a while. I came bowling here, and then it looked like they didn't have a pro shop guy, and I had a conversation many, many years ago here. And I ended up having the pro shop here, and then it switched management, and then I left for a little while, and then when Mark came back about 10 years ago, I came and took it over again.
Okay. Yeah, so I'm kind of new to the newer technology. When I was coming along in bowling in general in the mid-70s, there was mostly just the rubber ball, the plastic ball. And then in the 80s, there was the polyurethane that came along with reactive resin.
Right, so the joke was, back in the 70s, and you'd walk into a pro shop, and the pro shop guy would say, okay, you can have any color you want as long as it's black. That was the going joke, so.
Okay. Yeah, I guess the first one I had was the Black Beauty.
Black Beauty, yes.
Yeah, the Brunswick.
Yeah. We always say, you can have the black one, or the black one. That's what they say. So there's very few bowling balls. Technology has completely taken over, but back then, they didn't know much. It was a rubber bowling ball. And a rubber bowling ball was a rubber bowling ball was a rubber bowling ball. That was it.
Right, yeah. Yeah, now that the things have changed, there's so much scientific part of bowling.
It is. So
with it.
Different cover stocks, different cores. The inside of bowling balls look like this now. This is the inside of a bowling ball.
So that's almost like not really a boxing glove, but it's
different, all different, like bell.
A jacket.
Bell shaped, yeah. So they just come in different sizes and different weights. And so the only way to get a bowling ball to a specific weight, because they only sell up to 16-pound bowling balls. So 16, 15, 14, 12 going down is they reduce the shape of the core.
Oh.
So in other words, if this is a 16-pound ball, the 15-pound ball will not have a core this size. It'll be a little bit smaller than that.
Yeah, didn't know
That's
that.
the only way to be able to get the weight down.
Right.
So, and some of the lighter bowling balls don't have cores at all, because they have to make weight.
Yeah.
And some people only throw 6 pounds or 8 pounds, and this alone is 8 pounds, without the rest of the bowling balls. So.
Yeah, so the lowest weight for someone who wants to get a core like this to throw a big hook would be around
12 pounds.
Okay. Yes. That's quite interesting.
Yeah, so we keep this for just a show purposes. When people come in and they want to kind of talk about bowling balls, and I try to keep it at bowling 101 for them, I'll break this out and I'll kind of explain. This is the dime, this is the bowling ball, here's your core, this is the pin, and I don't know if you're going to ask me these questions, but how we drill bowling balls is we measure up against these pieces, right? So we know if this is the top of the core, the pin always goes in the very top of the core.
Okay.
So we know if a bowling ball is sitting straight up like this, we know that that's the very top of the bowling ball.
Oh,
So if you cut this in half, this is what it's going to look like, something similar to that. And that's how we design, how we do our layouts and drill bowling balls different ways. That's how we know. You know, I can make a ball curve more, I can make a ball curve less. All depending on how I angle this.
wow, something.
So
Yeah,
this is a good piece to keep around.
yeah, I heard about that pin, but I never knew much about it.
Yeah, there's 3 different pieces to a bowling ball. On the outside really is pin, which is the very top of the bowling ball. Then they have this little tiny dot prick, dot in the bowling ball.
Okay,
It's called the center of gravity. And then depending if the core, the shape of the core, now this happens to be a symmetrical core, right? Symmetric, same shape all the way around, symmetric. Now they make bowling balls with asymmetric cores, which means that the shape of the core is different all the way. It's not the same going all the way around. And they mark it with this marking. It's called the mass bias. And it lets us know when we draw lines on a bowling ball to how we're gonna drill holes, we line everything up by that.
I see.
There's a big science that goes into this now. It's
Yeah,
not
it
just punch holes in balls anymore.
Right. How deep do you normally, is there like a measurement for depth?
So the fingers, we don't go that deep. We have to have them marked on the drill press.
Okay.
The fingers, we don't go down as deep. The thumb, we go down deeper. And depending if we put a thumb slug in there, this is the thumb slug, we go down a little bit deeper than this, which is probably a little over, almost 3 inches, maybe close to 4 inches.
Okay.
Sometimes we go down 3.5 inches until this kind of hits. We don't want to go too deep because we don't want to take weight from the core, right? The longer, the deeper that hole goes in that bowling ball means we're going into the core, right? So,
Right, yeah.
and when you start drilling into the core, now you're changing the dynamics of the bowling ball. So if you keep drilling into the top of the core, you're flattening the core, which makes the ball hook less.
Oh,
So depending on how we put holes, right? More weight, less weight, more curve, less curve.
I see.
There's a lot to this. I mean, people,
It is.
you know, they go, wow, what do you do all that? Well, there's science to this.
So do they have like just 3 holes as normal, or do some balls have like 3 on the top and a thumb?
So the normal is 2 holes on the top for your middle finger and ring finger, and a thumb hole.
Okay.
Now, some people don't use a thumb hole, so we don't drill a hole at all. You just use your top fingers and they put the ball on their palm. There are people who have arthritis. You're allowed to have as many holes in that bowling ball as you want.
Oh,
If you have 5, that means you have 5 holes, you have to occupy all 5 holes. So if there's 5 holes in the ball, all 5 fingers have to be in the ball. You can't have 5 holes in the ball and only use 3 out of 5. You can't do that.
Okay.
So if you have 5 holes in the ball, your whole hand has to go in the ball.
for the two-handed bowlers, how many holes do they have in the ball?
Some have 2, just for their fingers.
Okay.
They don't put their thumb in there. And some have none.
Oh, so some actually bowl with no holes?
Right.
Yeah, I didn't know that, because I always thought they had at least 1 hole. or
You don't
2.
have to have holes, you still have to mark the ball. So in other words, if they're putting their hand on the ball a certain way, it still has to be marked. Most two-handed bowlers have 2 fingers, the top 2 fingers, because that's where they get all the lift out of it.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that lift is a big part of it.
Big part to get the curve.
See, back in the older days, there was what they call the fingertip grip and the conventional grip. Now, the fingertip grip, the way you drill the ball now, is that still a factor?
Yeah, nothing's changed in when it comes to fingertip. The only thing that's changed today is we don't use the semi-grip anymore as much, where they just put some of the fingers in and they didn't use grips way back then, right? Back in the 70s and 80s, these weren't really used that much. They were just putting their fingers in the top of the hole and then thumb in because they didn't know enough. So, but now they come in with these rubber inserts, which helps them really get the lift out of it. Back then, a lot of these weren't being used. And as a matter of fact, a lot of pros, some pros still don't use grips. They just put their fingers in there.
Right.
And what's the benefit of that is grips wear down.
Oh.
The holes never do wear down, right? So it's always the same feel every single time. When you throw 30, 40, 50 games, you start wearing a grip out, you get a different feel. And then you gotta go change grips.
I see. So that's the purpose of like the vice grip. You see those ads in the bowling magazines.
Yeah.
Okay.
And these are all Vice.
Oh,
We carry just Vice grips here.
I see. Yeah, I see now. Yeah. Wow. So they all made of the same thing? I see the different colors.
Just different colors, different bowling balls had different logos on them. We try to always match wherever the logo is. So if it's orange, we try to match the grip with orange to make it look cosmetically nice.
Yeah.
So this customer happens to like pink. So we put a pink thumb slug in it, and we order his pink grips, and we'll put his pink grips in the ball when he gets here.
Yeah.
Whatever they want. If the customer wants it, we make it happen.
Yeah. Really nice to see these wild colors.
Yeah.
All the designs.
All different neon colors, all pinks. You know, we like to give the customer an option, choices. We don't just like to go just white. In the old days, it was just white. You had a couple colors, but we want to give you as many options as possible here. So we let you choose whatever color you want.
Right. Okay. Great. Yeah. Cover stocks was the one of the things I wanted to talk about because that's a new thing to me, even though it's been around for maybe a decade.
Long time.
Oh, long time.
Longer.
Yeah. Oh.
So different cover stocks have been around for probably 30 years.
Wow.
And resin came out in the 90s. That's one cover stock. Urethane's been out even before that.
Yeah.
Right? And then rubber before that. Plastic was even before that, right? Polyurethane plastic, which were the regular house balls, really shiny hard ones, they've been out since the 70s, you know, and 60s, those. And the difference of the cover stocks is, you know, the harder the cover stock, the straighter the ball goes, right? Because it's a harder ball. And with the lanes and the oil.
Huh? Can I borrow one of your stools?
Yes. That's what's going to happen, right?
That's fine.
So, just depending on your style of bowling, if you throw a straight ball, get a hard cover stock, get a plastic ball. You don't need to spend $200 plus. You don't just spend a little over $100. You'll be happy. You're going to throw the ball straight. That ball's going to go straight. Some of the people who want to curve the ball a lot more have to spend a lot more money and get those cover stocks where it really grabs the lane. I always try to describe it as, you know, think of a lake that's frozen with ice on it, right? If you throw something plastic or you know, it will, on ice, it'll just slide, right?
Yeah.
But then think about a resin ball, and then think about a snow tire on that ice, as it will grab. And that's kind of like what a resin ball will do. It creates a lot more friction. So the more friction, the more it's going to grab the lane, and the more it's going to hook. Bowling today is mostly spoken of surface of cover stock. They don't, you know, we know how to drill balls, but in the last maybe 5 or 10 years, we've learned more about surface management, where we sand bowling balls down to different surfaces. We go 240, 320, 600, 1200, 2000, 4000, 5000, and trying to get the right cover stock for that customer to be able to go on whatever lane condition they're going to bowl on. Of course, the lower we sand the ball down, the more dull it's going to get, the more friction it's going to create, the more the ball's going to take off.
So the 4,000 to 5,000 is the sandpaper grit?
It's wet sand, yeah.
Okay.
Sandpaper grit.
Yeah.
And so we wet sand that, and just to, you know, just to have some light scuffing on the ball, but yet it's enough to be able to create friction.
Okay. Great. Huh. Amazing. Yeah, really good.
You're learning a lot, right?
Already? Yeah. By the way, Tom has got a lot of good testimonials because I saw on his sign outside he had probably 23 bowlers that have had 300 games here or locally.
Right.
There was over 100 games altogether though, because you had some bowlers that had 13, one had 8 or whatever.
This is the VIP, we call it the Wall of Fame. So if every customer that buys a bowling ball from me, if they bowl 300 with it, they go on the board.
Oh, okay.
And so some of them have 20, you know, but if you throw 300 with a ball that leaves this shop, I put them out there. When I put this business together, I always said this business was never going to be about me. It was going to be about the customer. So when you go out there, nothing is about me out there. It's about my customers.
Right.
And that's what I want them to be. I want them to feel like when they walk in here, this is theirs.
Yeah.
And you see it when the customers are walking in here, how they're just hanging out and talking and looking. They feel comfortable in here. They can come and ask me any question they want. They'll get an answer. They're going to get an honest answer. So that's kind of how I built the business.
Yeah, you got a good clientele here. I mean, you got a lot of people that come in from what I've
Yeah,
heard.
and this is just one night. You know, we do this 5 nights a week. So
Wow, that's amazing. Hmm. So the people that get on the VIP board, even if they bowl a 300 in another house,
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter where it is. As long as they roll 300,
they tell you.
they get on the wall.
Wow, that's something. So I guess another question is, how do the cover stocks react to, I mean, what is the cover stock in relation to the different oiling patterns, like if you have a scorpion or the cheetah, that's what you hear, that's the famous one you hear about. I don't, there may be others.
So there's a whole bunch of different lane conditions. They put out different patterns, right? There's a cheetah pattern. There's what we call a THS, typical house shot, which is what we put out. I'm not sure exactly of the footage down here of oil, but usually a house pattern usually looks something like a Christmas tree. And the oil is on the outside and then it kind of comes in all the way down the lane. When you bowl in a lot of tournaments, sport shot tournaments, you'll see a lot of different sport type shots. They have different names, chameleon, scorpion.
Yes.
All the different types of, and they all mean something different. Usually when you go bowl in these tournaments, they give you an advance notice of exactly what it's going to be. You can also print out the sheet of the oil layout, and you'll be able to kind of see what is out there. Yeah, out there it's invisible. You can't see the oil, but in your head you can picture it.
Right.
And so, depending on the bowling ball, if it's something where there's going to be a lot of oil, and depending if this is going down 40 feet or more, you want something with a lot of surface on there. Okay. Something very, very dull. A very high-end bowling ball, asymmetric probably, with a lot of surface. And even the high-end bowling balls, after they come out of the box, people still will take them and they'll still scuff them up to try and create more friction, because some people can't get through all of that oil. That's a lot. And as the game goes on, the oil carries down, there's less oil, and the ball starts hooking more as the night progresses. But in the beginning of the night, when all the oil's there, it's a little bit of struggle. So most people will still take their bowling balls, and they're very dull, maybe sanded down to maybe 2,000, 3,000, and they'll go use them. And as the night goes on, that oil starts getting consumed in that bowling ball. But there's less oil in it because they keep picking it up, they bring it back, they wipe it off on the ball, and they roll it again. So
yeah, it's an art to that.
It is.
It really is. Yeah, it's really good.
I'm a firm believer when I bowl, whether term or not, or even a house shot, I don't wipe my bowling ball off. The bowling, usually when you roll your bowling ball, there's a ring of oil that goes around your bowling ball. And I don't touch it. I roll the bowling ball the same way every time, so I want that oil on there, so I don't wipe it off. I think it gives me an advantage. I have that oil on there all night long, so I don't like to wipe my bowling ball off. There are some pros who don't wipe their bowling ball off either, and there's a lot who do. I choose not to. I choose to leave it on the bowling ball, because as the night goes on and there's less oil, I still have that bowling ball, that oil sitting on my bowling ball at least.
Okay.
And usually roll it over the same spot every single time. If you're a pretty decent bowler and you're accurate, you're consistent, you're pretty much rolling over the same spot every single time.
Okay. Are there local pros that bowl regionals here that you know? Like, are there some famous names you could tell us that come in here for?
Yeah, we don't have, not in this center there's not, but I know up in Hanover, Adam Baer. I don't know if you ever heard of Adam before.
Baer, I heard the name Baer.
Adam bowls in a lot of regionals.
Okay.
He bowls out of Hanover. And there may be just a couple of guys there. But I'm not out enough to know, who the newer guys are out there. I'm not really sure. I don't go to any regionals anymore.
Yeah.
But Adam Baer is one of them. And,
yeah.
But around here, I don't know many guys who go to a lot of these regional tournaments. I don't know if anyone from this center does. And there's a lot of good quality bowlers here. But I don't think they don't do that. I think they're here just for more fun.
Yeah, but still, you got reputation to a guy like that comes here, Adam Baer, comes here to get work done. So
Adam had an old pro shop. He's been here a couple times. He used to have the shop up there.
Oh.
So I don't know if he's still drilling his own bowling balls or not, but I've drilled a couple bowling balls for guys who went to the Masters tournament. I drill all the young, the youth, and they've been to junior gold and bowl very well in here. So a lot of the junior gold bowlers, they get all their bowling balls drilled here.
Okay.
So Kaylee and Aaron, they come here, and they're both the junior gold bowlers. And Aaron just bowled 298 not long ago, and they're both they're winning prizes and awards all the time. Those are good two upcoming ladies who are probably going to make the pro tour one day.
Yeah. Oh, great. What are your hours here for the people that are watching and might want to get work done?
So we are open Monday through Friday, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. We're only here when the leagues. During the week, we don't. There are some senior leagues. We don't open up. I have another full-time job, so this is just a part-time job for me running the shop. We're here 6:30 to 8:30, and most of the time we stay a little bit later. If a customer comes in, we don't hard shut at 8:30 if there are people in here.
Okay.
But it usually seems to work out pretty well. We work off appointments mainly because I like to give all my time to the people. So we don't have a lot of walk-ins. You see, if you walk out there, you see my calendar out there, and we schedule time, 6:30 or 7:30. 2 appointments a night. I like to drill 2 bowling balls a night, and that's it. And that gives me the time to spend one-on-one personal attention to that one bowler for 1 hour. You're paying me for my time, I'm gonna give you my time.
Yeah.
So it seems to work. I think some people don't like that maybe because, you know, they feel like I'm ignoring them when I have a customer in here, but everyone gets the same exact attention from me. And I feel if you're gonna pay me to drill your bowling ball, not only want you to get you wanna pick my brain, ask me any question, but not only that, I go out there, I want to watch how you bowl before I drill your bowling ball. We come in, we drill your bowling ball, you get to watch me drill your bowling ball. I don't kick people out, they stand right here, they get to see their bowling ball get drilled, and then when it's finished, we get to go out and try their bowling ball. That whole hour is me and them doing all those things. It's not just drill a bowling ball and have a nice day.
Right.
It's, you come in, we talk, we pick out a bowling ball, we drill the bowling ball, we watch you bowl, we drill the bowling ball, we go out and watch your bowling ball. The sale isn't finished after I drill the ball, the sale never ends. The customer, we're tied together with that bowling ball.
That's great. Great way to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. I don't want to keep you from your business, but
I
I just
appreciate
wanted to talk a little bit today and give people a little bit of instruction on how the things work now. So it's good to meet you, Tom.
Yeah, same here. If you have anything, come back. I mean, it gets, as we move on to the season, you'll see it gets slower in here. All the craziness won't be happening.
Okay.
It's still early in the season where we're selling a lot of balls. People are buying bowling balls and shoes, and shoes over in here. You know, got all the stuff to put away. It's just early still.
Yeah.
It slows down maybe next month, and then we start getting hot again in December. But you know, if whatever you might have missed something, feel free to come on back, and we can maybe do it out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, well, I can even, like on a Thursday night or something, I could just close the shop and we can just sit out there, you know.
Okay. Yeah, it'd be nice for the people to see all the balls you have out there on display and available.
See the shop, because we've worked hard on that out there. I always said when I come in here, I want people to come in here, and I don't want you to think you're in a bowling ball. That's why we cosmetically we made it look so nice out there.
Yeah, it's very nice. Yeah, very impressive.
Work hard on it.
Great.
Well, thank you, I appreciate
Okay,
it.
thank you, Tom.
You got it.